So I know there's a bunch of you that have been annoying me on social media. Glenn, when's Matt speaking? Glenn, when's Matt speaking? So I know a lot of you guys are here for this session, and rightly so, because it's probably a ratio. Let me just put down the clicker. Clicker's here, Matt. I'll do a good intro though, so I get a good one for the camera and stuff. And for broccoli. All right, so take one. All right, so I know a lot of you guys are here for this session, rightly so. It's probably a ratio of 3 or 4 to 1, probably about 2 to 1 now because I stopped begging as much. But over the years, it's probably a ratio of 3 or 4 to 1 of me begging Matt to come and speak at an event and him begrudgingly taking pity on me and coming to do this. So I remember I had Arnold Schwarzenegger headlining at the biggest event I was ever going to do. And I asked Matt, he just wasn't in the space. He wasn't feeling it. And that's because Matt doesn't do this. You know what I mean? Matt does this when it feels right and when he feels he's got something to share. He's not like us other egotists, and I'll put up my hand. I'm here because this is the closest I'll ever get to being a rock star, ever, right? My job before this is just play guitar and sing. There's no way that I'd have 1,000 people come and see me sing, ever. So that's why I do this. Matt does this because he genuinely has something to share and wants to give back. It was years ago that Matt said to me, maybe even 5 years ago perhaps, he said, "Twids, I think I've got this thing. I'm going to McDonald's-ize this business, and I reckon I've got it." And I thought to myself, okay, if anyone's going to do it, it's him. As in, make it a formulaic process that's replicatable that you can absolutely transfer. And he didn't tell me this, but it was a goal for him at that time, for the last 10 odd plus years, for him to be McGrath's #1 agent. And he kept that goal very much to himself. And in the last 12 months, that's when he's achieved that. He's on the stage at McGrath doing an unprecedented 5 odd million in GCI. He's got a team of between 8 and 7, 8, 9 or 10 at any one time that help him achieve that. So understand that it is very much a team effort, but he ended up doing it. And now he's publicly made it his goal because he kept that goal pretty private, right? He didn't even tell his friends really that one meant so much to him, because every year he'd be number 2, 3 or 4 in McGrath. And then at the start of that next year, he'd have to start again. And you can imagine number 2, 3 or 4 in McGrath is no slouch. That's millions. That's so hundreds of sales. And then the counter starts at 0 again. So he kept that goal and that burning desire very privately. And then when he did it, he humbly accepted it, but he did, sort of let us know then that was a 10-year goal that he used to dream about when he first started with McGrath. So he went and did what he said he was going to do. And how can you help but love a guy that can do that, but at the same time be the rock that so many of us turn to when there's shit in our world? That he is the one that literally, when I'm going through hell, I'm texting him and whinging at 5 in the morning that life's tough and stuff. He'd say, "Well, get some sleep, idiot," or whatever, He's certainly no soft mentor, but he is definitely a mentor for me personally. And it's been an honour, to be his mate. Every now and then he asks me something, which I'm honoured to. I don't know how good my answers are, but sometimes I know a thing or two that might help. But I tell you, the scale is very much weighted in him helping me more than I've ever helped him. So I'm forever grateful when he does say yes to come and do one of these things. You've got him now today. So guys, I hope you're as appreciative of his time as I am. Take notes and listen up, because this country does not get any better when it comes to writing good business, being able to deal with adversity, having a good life, being a good parent, and just being as good as they get. So guys, can't speak more highly about my man. Matt Steinwade, folks, give it up. Thanks, man. Thank you so much, bro.
That was so long.
Oh, sorry.
I'll just sit here for a minute. How is everyone today? Good? Do you want to sort of stand up, shake it off a bit? Feeling a bit stuck? You want to stand up? Come on, let's stand up. Let's sort of shake it off a little bit. Just get the energy moving a bit. Thanks. Oh yeah, that's it. Let's just have a chat. That's a really bad photo too. Thanks, Twid. Yeah. Come and say hello, Broccoli. Come on, Broccoli. So Broccoli opened up to me this morning, and he said his dream in life is to sing and dance. We love broccoli. Thanks, mate. We love you, broccoli. So I just want to chat quickly about the market, yourselves, just results. I listened to a lot of the Facebook things, and funny enough, my team just went down and saw Tom Panos's person that he had on about this Facebook listing leads thing. So we're very open to what's happening. But I think I do have a bit of a system that sort of works, pretty simple. I'm going to share some of that with you today. But I think at the moment there's a lot of uncertainty out there. You know, who's newish? Sort of. Okay. Really want you to listen to this today. So I do think there's a lot of uncertainty. You can get very distracted with, you know, people's opinions and the market and almost the sluggishness of it. It can be very distracting. So I'm going to start with a little story, not about myself. I don't know where the slides are. Here. So let's go here. So people have probably heard me speak about Manuel before, but he's awesome. So about 15 years ago, I went to New Zealand and spoke at a seminar for Lee Woodward over there. And I walked, it was the morning, walked down, me and Shelley, and he was on the front door. We're walking through the lobby, and he goes, "Good morning, sir, good morning, madam," all the way across the lobby. And I'm like, you know when you're walking, and you're sort of like, is he talking to me or somebody else? And you sort of don't want to say hi because he's like, you'll get embarrassed because it's someone right behind you. He's like, "Good morning, sir, good morning, madam. How are you today?" A little bit more masculine than that. But we walked up, and he was so happy, so happy. He says, "Where are you going?" And we're like, "Oh, just down the road, blah, blah, blah." He said, "Would you like a taxi?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Thanks." And he runs out the road, and he's standing there, and he's like, the village people, he's going like this. And he's directing it in. The cab comes in, he opens the door, Shelley gets in, I get in. He's over me, putting my seatbelt on, and I'm looking at Shelley going, what the bloody hell is going on here? He goes to the cab, go, and he stands there going, we're looking out the back window going, like that. And I was like, have you ever seen anything like it in your life? And we were so happy all day because of this guy. 12 years later, Shelley gets an invite to her best friend's wedding. Her name's Sally. And it said, recommended hotel, she's from New Zealand, recommended hotel is the Hilton. So Shelley, being a girl, obviously pulls it straight up. Hilton, looking around, looks really beautiful, blah, blah, blah. And I said to her, why don't we stay at Manuel's hotel? And she looks at me and goes, how did you even remember his name? I'm like, no idea. She said, yeah, why don't we? What's the hotel called? And I couldn't think of it. I was like, Grand, Casino. 10 minutes later, I'm like, Sky City Grand. So we booked. We stayed there. So we're like, all excited, off we go. Halfway over in the plane, Shelley turns to me and goes, do you think he even still works there? And I'm like, I hope so. So we land, get in the cab. Anyway, coming up to the hotel, I'm like looking out the window, like keen to see Manuel, and he's not there. So I'm like, oh, bugger it. Should have stayed at the Hilton. And then, so we went up, booked in, stayed there, up, down, up, down. Every time I walk down in the morning or the other, looking for Manuel, he's just not there. And I'm like bummed, wrecked the whole holiday. So 3 days later, we get back after dinner, and guess who's at the front door? And we're like, Manuel! Like so pumped. And we're like jumping around Manuel. And I said, can I get some photos of you? And he's like a superstar. He's like going like this, and he's posing. He's so cool. Anyway, he's like going, who are these freaks? He has no idea who we are. Anyway, I said, why are you so good? Like, why? And like, he's probably about that high. And he goes, I work so hard so my son and daughter go to university. And I was like, wow, it makes me a bit emotional. I was like, wow, that good, that good. And I think to myself, how many other people have stayed at that hotel because of him? Like, how many? We did, 12 years later. Like, he's the highlight of that hotel. I watched him after that. The thing with Manuel is, do you think he gets up and says, hang on, I'm just going to pull up Koshi on Sunrise and get some commentary on the hotel market and just see how many people are staying in hotels and what the hotel ratio is for conversions to rooms and all that? Do you think he does that? Not a hope in hell. He couldn't care less. He probably doesn't have a TV. He gets up every day and says, I'm going to kill it today because I need to eat and my kids need to go to school. And I'm sick of hearing about the market. I just am. I'm over it. And I can tell you, you are the market. 100% you are the market. I have told, 20,000 people about Manuel. Have I converted some people to stay at that hotel to go see him? Yep, I reckon I have. And it's like a virus of goodness. And I reckon we can get so caught up, and I'm not dismissing any of it, be aware of it. But when you're in the market, there is the market. Just adapt to it. And if you make two people say wow today, the flow-on effect from that is like, I don't care how many Facebook ads you run. Well, I don't. I want to understand it, maybe bolt it on. But he's blissfully unaware. Did 85 people stay today or 1,085? He impressed 2 Australians to come back 12 years later. Tell me how many people remembered your name from 6 months ago. What was your name? Oh, Dominique? Sorry. Dominique? I don't know how many, but Dominique, that's what I would be concerned about. I remember his name 12 years later. Never saw him again, not one thing. He left an impression on my heart. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. That's all I really care about. I don't have like lots of slides. I don't even want to talk about these slides today, in a way. Like you put slides together and get prepared and, rehearse in your mind. And I didn't do any of that. I just want to talk to you about what's really happening now. How to succeed at this business. I reckon I know how to do it. I do. And I'm not saying that in a boastful way. I think we just sometimes talk about stuff that's too complicated. I think when you have too much stuff going on, you end up doing nothing in a way. Yeah. So it's definitely like an energy game. And if you're stuck, I can't tell you how many messages I get from people and Broccoli that they message us saying, oh, we love Broccoli and I'm stuck. I don't know why I have to say, oh, we love Broccoli. He's got this like cult following going on. But it's like, we love Broccoli and I'm stuck. So I'm like his helper. And it's like, I'm stuck. But if there is one thing that I know, is when your energy shifts, your world starts to shift. You don't have to pay anything for Facebook likes or DL brochures or anything. But if you sit there and you watch the news, you want to jump off the balcony. But you will. You will. And life is too good for that. Like we're in an awesome business when you think about it. We get freedom of choice a lot of the time. Sure, our time is owned and what you want to achieve is really dependent on how much price you're going to pay. I don't think there's any fast track there. at all. You know, it is a time-consuming business, but it's really cool. Have you ever seen a new person come into the business and they're pumped and they all of a sudden sell a listing that was been there for a year and a half? Like, why is that? Like why? Have you really thought about it? It's a little bit like when people die. Everyone goes to a funeral and that's it. And I always think about, where do they go? Like, where do they go? No one ever seems to talk about it. Where do they actually go? They were here yesterday, now they're gone somewhere. I want to know where they're gone. So I'm like, why does that new person start with zero experience, no scripts and dialogues, no Facebook training, nothing, and they sell a listing that was there for a year and a half? And then everyone hates them in the office. But why is that? Yeah. How much did that cost? Nothing. It's the shift in energy. You will become what you put in here. You will. If you sit there and watch the stats of the falling market in Sydney, I don't know what the market's like around here, Sydney and all, I don't want to know. And I'll talk to you more about it today. This is my business plan, 20 and 20. 20 listings, 20 sales, 20 listings, 20 sales, 20 listings, 20 sales, 20 listings, 20 sales, 20 listings, 20 sales. That's all we say to ourselves in our team. 2020, 2020, 2020. We've just put up to 25, something interesting. The team went a bit wobbly, so we pulled it back to 20 and 20. So our vibration, but our vibration state has been trained so much that 20 and 20 is where we operate real well. As soon as I put it up to 25 and 25, we actually sold 15 that month. So we've just scaled it back again to 20 and 20. Rhythm going again. It'll go to 25, 25, not ready yet. It's not the next step right now. But I can tell you, just like any computer, program your mind. 2020, 2020, 2020. I could text anyone on my team, 2020, 2020, and they write back 2020, 2020, 2020, 2020. We do it all the time. 2020, 2020, 2020. We create the rhythm of the day, the rhythm of the month. How you get there, I don't know. You've got to do what works for you. I wouldn't stop doing old school stuff. I just wouldn't do it. I wouldn't stop doing that. I think it works real well. I think there's something about, because I know a lot of people are like, letterbox dropping and door knocking and all of this. Oh, that's for like old people. But it really works. Like, you call any of my core area that I've been speaking to forever, you got Buckley's are listing their house. Some of my team has started prospecting my core area and they say, well, all they say is, we're going to sell with Matt one day. Look, that's all they say. Uncontested business and off-market business is what you want right now. So the issue that I have with Facebook, at the moment, I don't know enough about it, so I'm not going to preach to you. I never talk about anything that I don't know, ever. But there's not a lot of depth of relationship there. So I love when I just had an owner ring me then. He got an offer on his property off market. So anyway, I have a few really high maintenance owners. They're just painful. And then he texts me and said, call me now. My phone's diverted. Call me straight away. And he goes, my main competitor, got an offer on his land, 1.5. He goes, should I take it? I said, yes, just take it. Get on with it. But I like that. I like that depth of relationship. And I'm happy for my competitor as well. Good on him. There's something magical that happens with saturation. So you've got to earn this saturation. So when you've got 1,000 homes, that's how I built my profile, my career, and everything. It all rippled out from there. So keep it simple. One of the speakers said, keep it really simple. Don't spread yourself too thin, for sure. 1,000 homes. You want so much saturation there that people just don't like you for a while. It's true. So Mr. Greenwald at 64 Old Gosford Road, a long time ago, when I was creating saturation, I ring him one day and I said, Mr. Greenwald, I've just listed down the road. And he goes, I'm going to murder you. And I said, oh, right, well, what's going on up there? He goes, I'm going to bloody murder you. And I said, why? He goes, and I'm not joking, he goes, I'm going to come down and slit your throat. And I was like, why? But I didn't realise, because when I was dropping letters off every day, he used to have like a letterbox. You know how you know all letterboxes in every house when you sort of walk the streets? He had one with a triangle thing and a door at the back, and you put the mail in there. Anyway, I went there one day, 5 in the morning, something like that. It was just a pole. And I was like, oh, don't know where that's gone. Put it under his door. So for months, I'm putting him under his door. And he took his letterbox off, so I didn't put letters in there anymore. So he's boiling at home, like literally, like, I don't know. He's like extreme. Anyway, I apologised, wrote a card, never did it again, and he refers me business today. I could give you a number of examples like that. But it's like, what I'm saying is most agents don't get to that critical zone. That critical zone where it's almost like you get people offside because you're asking so much. And then I'll show you what to do at that point. And then when you get to that point, then you just you just share information from there. And you convert your area almost to like you become a consultant sort of thing. They know when you ring, you're not going to ask them for anything, but you have to get to that point. My mate, who was 19, number one in the world for FAI alarms, he used to outsell all of the people in FAI across the globe at 19 by 5 times. And he said, what happens? And I asked Johnny, I said, well, how did you even do that? And he said, it's really hard selling an alarm to people who don't want to talk to you, who don't want the alarm at night. Like, it's really difficult. But he said, once he created this saturation, he said, there's a critical zone where your business just goes like this. And it just goes through the roof. He said, most people don't get there. And it's so true. So if I came to your area and I started tomorrow, I would do exactly that. And sort of like at the moment, if everything is going down, what you do needs to go up. So everything is flat, you need to increase your service. Like you need to increase your service, increase your prospecting. I saw someone out there, but there was so many people go, I've got so many listings at the moment. It's awesome. So many. I'm like, yeah, how many are saleable? I don't say that, but it's like I'm thinking to myself, how many are saleable? You need to be listing twice as much right now. Because you can guarantee your owners will watch the news, they'll be wondering if they want to sell. What about, oh, we'll just rent it out. We don't sell it in the next few weeks, we'll just rent it out. Just rent it out now. Get off my list. But you need that sort of, almost you need that position if you want your numbers to stay steady. It's a motivation market right now, which I'll show you, but it's like if you want your numbers to stay steady, you have to list double. And that saturation is exactly the point that you need to watch, or you need to get to, you need to watch, and once you get there, it's all yours to sort of navigate from there. Daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, 6 months. Daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly. Calls, letters, monthly. So calls, DLs, letters, quarterly like brochure thing, 6 months CMA, and something yearly. In your area, boop, 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 just like your printing press. Bang, 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 bang. That's the rhythm that you need. When you go, I need listings, and go and prospect for them, don't even worry about it. Forget about it. Like if I just turned up here and go, I need a listing. This is where sales managers just baffle me. Go out and get 4 listings. Sure, where from? Woolworths? But where from? So if I just went like, hey Gnomes, how you going? Do you want to sell your house? No. Twids, do you want to sell your house? Greg, do you want to sell your house? No. You don't prospect for listings. You prospect for relationships. Period. You're going to find a listing or two along the way. It's probably some, old Greek guy that wants $4 million for his house and it's worth $1 million. You'll probably list it, and it'll be there for years, but you've listed it. But the saturation will bring people to you anyway. You're so active, and active just breeds active. This is almost your structure. But then you've got to apply yourself. And agents list a few listings and they sell them and they've got none. And they go, I need a few more now. Quick. Quick where? Oh, I'm just going to go and knock on Gladys's door and ask if she wants to sell a house today. Oh, actually, Matt, yeah, awesome. I just woke up today and thought I'll just sell my house. How often does that happen? Hardly ever. That's why sales management in this business just intrigues me. And the pressure on the agents, new people, the pressure on the agents is so much they leave. Because they can't actually do it. I can't do it. I've been doing it for almost 25 years. I can't do it. You can move people forward slowly once you have a relationship. But instead of a sales manager says, go out and create 30 new contacts today, and we're going to nurture that relationship, and in 5 years' time, your numbers are going to be so good, you'll be the number one agent in the office. That's better. I'll show you how to do it. That's nicer. Instead of like, right, meeting on Monday morning, 8 o'clock. Right, show me your listings. Show me your market opinions. How many of these are ready now? Bloody hell. Much easier being a florist. You've got to pick a number. The number is going to be ingrained into your DNA like nothing else. Every day, the number has to be met. That's your end of the bargain. 40 was my number for years. 40 new connects every day. 40 new connects every day. I don't care how you get them. You can go and walk down the street and talk to anybody. You can go and knock on doors. You can cold call. Whatever. Call your centre of influence. It does not matter. You've got to do some in your core area, call some buyers, but you want to, and it doesn't count if people ring you. You just want to step out, you know. Paul, Matt, how you going? Do you want to sell your house? Cool, see you later. Dear Paul, thanks for catching up with me today. Look forward to keeping up to date in the future. In his letterbox. That's it. One connect. Over and over and over again. Do you know the number of that if you do it 5 days a week all year? 9,600. So if you've got 9,600 proactive contacts every year, are you going to find some listings potentially? Yep. But you're going to start creating new friends maybe in your market. And over the years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, all these people, Paul, I've been talking to you for 5 years. How you going, mate? It's Matt. Not from McGrath, nothing like that now. It's Matt. How's things? Good. Number 3 just sold down the street. That's it. Everything good your end? Excellent. Health good? Kids good? Cool. See you later. That's my prospecting. It just changes. Paul wakes up now, wants to sell his house. What are you going to do? Call me. Uncontested business. The best. Off-market business, get a call. Hey, I'm looking for a 4-bedroom house, blah, 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 1.5 million. Hey, Paul, would you sell if I could get the price that you wanted? Definitely? Cool. Probably a year too early, but if the price was good, yeah, what number would that be? 1.6? I'll see what I can do. Maybe. I reckon a third of my business at the moment is off-market because of that. My hot list is where it's at. Move, 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 nurture, 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 move, 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 nurture, nurture, nurture. But when people come into the office today, or each day, and they sort of like, they don't exactly know what to do. They're like, I'll make some calls and hang out with Joyce out the kitchen, eat some fruit, and then, you know, get back down and watch a bit of YouTube, and then I'll go out to an appointment, and I'll come back, and then, yeah, shuffle some papers around, got to get the kids. Okay. Of course people are going to perform averagely. But if they came in every day, and even if it was 15, and said, I just need to meet 15 new people today, that's it, and all the rest of the stuff happens around it, they're building their business. And from yesterday, they're going to write 15 thank you cards. Now they've got a little bit of momentum, like a little bit of structure, a little bit of commitment. Something happens when you commit to consistency. Your results will never be consistent until you are. Ever. You might have a good month. How many agents have we seen over the years that get up at these things? Yeah, all right, $1.5 million in 1 year. Awesome. 7 years later, they're not even around. It's all just sheer force, and it's like such a big, whoa, whirlwind. Slower. Slower, you're going to get there. Build something that's really firm, really solid. That's why you see some companies, when they grow too fast, they almost implode. You don't want to grow fast. You just want to do it at a pace where you're just steadily growing. One after the other after the other. It's sustainable and it feels better. Have a simple recipe that you're going to stick to. 40 connects, hand-delivered letters. Look, I know some of these tweets is probably going hand-delivered letters. Like, that's what I do. Hand-delivered letters, thank you cards. Call your owners every day, especially at the moment. Hey, it's Matt, got nothing going on today. I'll call you tomorrow, keep your post on the internet hits or whatever. Every day. You have to be the certainty that they can't see right now. They're feeling really unstable. Is my house going to sell? Should I take it off the market? Have I got the right agent? Will we get our price? That's all these things going through their mind. When you talk to them once a day or twice a day, it creates this steadiness. It's almost like this, it almost brings the result into your world. Because it's something about that connection. If you haven't talked to your owners for 5 days, how do you feel when you pick up the phone on the 6th day and you've got nothing to tell them? Weird, yeah. Anxious. Oh, I sort of haven't really kept you up to date. But when you spoke to them every day, they're not looking at you anymore. Gee, the market's not that good out there, is it? No, it's all right, but we're doing well. Yeah, do you think we'll sell? Yeah, we will. Might take a little bit longer, but we'll get there. What price do you think we'll get? Not sure. I'll tell you when I find the right buyer. Yeah, we might come down a little bit. Yeah, I know you will, but just let me find the right buyer. Yeah? The market, it doesn't matter now. You just got to find the right person. In your area, are there lots of houses selling still? Yeah, but the agent that's complaining about them just isn't in the game. So when you find a buyer, and I spoke to you every day, and it's 150 grand off where they want to be, so it's like they wanted 1.4 and it's 1.3, what do? What do you think? Oh, I think you should sell. Awesome. Let's sell. But when you go, hey, can I come see you at 4 o'clock this afternoon? What about? I'll tell you when I get there. Yep, no problem. And you sit there like this, all this tense, weird meeting. So, look, I've got an offer for you. I'm like sweating and things, and they're like sitting there like, They're like, oh, it's 1.3. Oh, don't worry about it. We'll just take it off the market. Oh, okay then. Well, that's a good strategy. They just don't want to listen to you. Who likes going to a meeting where you're thinking to yourself, what are they going to say? What do they want? Why are they ringing me? Oh, la, la. Like if your boss rings you, it's like, do you ever go, oh, yeah, I've got a meeting with him at 9:30. It's like, why are they ringing me? Leave me alone. Yeah? This is what hunger is so important. Like hunger is, I don't care what scripts and dialogues that you give anyone. If they don't have hunger, forget about them. You can be the most knowledgeable dweeb in the whole world, and if you don't have hunger, you're never going to use it. You need people to deal with. This is what I sent out when I was much younger, and it's like, if you aren't completely happy with the service I provide, I'll just mow your lawn for the next 6 months for free. Yeah, I did. And I still have one of the wealthiest guys on the coast who's one of my main clients now. Every time I see him, you know when people just have one story they keep telling you? And he's like, oh, remember that thing, 6 months free lawn? Yes, I get it. Yes, I know. But he became a client because of this stuff. He was a partner in another real estate office at the time. He was funding them, our competitive agency. And now he's like one of my biggest clients. But all I wanted was a go. That's it. And most of you know my story. I haven't even talked about my story. I'm not talking about my story today. I'm sick of my story. But this stuff is the reason that I got at least people started to say, well, this guy must be keen. Let's just give him a go. And then I just didn't have to let people down. You know, it's like that service guarantee that Neil Genman brought out about get out of the contract at any time. Best thing. I worked for another agency years and years and years ago, my main competitor, and I said to him, hey, Tim, we should do that thing about giving people a guarantee that they can get out of it if they're ever unhappy. He goes, that's just the stupidest idea I've ever heard in my life, blah, blah, blah. And I walked out and I went, I'm going to open my own agency because I reckon it's a great idea. Because if you're not doing a good job anyway, who cares about an agreement? If you're not doing a good job, you deserve to mow their lawn. Yeah, Brock will do it. Anyway, so just a couple of quick tools. So at the moment, I think they're at the back, Broccoli. Do you want to grab them for me a sec? At the moment, speed is everything. Okay, so speed wins business. Please remember that. Speed wins business. Thanks, mate. I'm glad you dressed up for the occasion too.
No worries.
Yeah. So as soon as people ring for a market opinion, within minutes, pre-list kit straight to their door. Questionnaire. Because at the moment, it's a motivation market, like I said. You really want to understand, why are they selling? Do they want to sell, or do they want to test the market? It's not a test anything market. Do they want to be in the stream of the market, or do they just want to sort of sit around and have a sign out the front of their house? So video thing, I think McGrath's changed this now, but this video thing, people like it. You know, it's like this. Bad music. But they like it. I go to their house and they go, we love the video thing. The kids just keep playing it. I'm like, cool. And then this questionnaire is the agenda to listing presentation. You've probably seen this before from me, but I'm going to show you an idea that James Tostovan gave me 15 years ago. I still use it. I reckon I've millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of business has come from it. This idea, if you don't use this, please start. It's so good. So when they have it ready, or most people do, they fill out here what's most important to them. Fee, price, blah, 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 agent's negotiation skill. I love when they put agent's negotiation skill there. I say, why is that important to you? Because you can't get a good price without that. Great, can I show you why I'm the agent for that? Straight into it. Who wants to sit there and go, oh, look, back in 1954, when we opened the office, this is us. This is us. And this is my award that I won 13 years ago. Yep. Right. Yep, that's me and my team. We look good, don't we? But who wants to do that? People only want to talk about what's important to them. And when you sit down and say, why are these three things at the top? I don't look at all 8. I say, why are these 3 things the most important to you? Well, we had a bad experience in Sydney. We sold with an agent we felt didn't get us the best price. We want the best price, and fee is important to us. How important to you? Really important. Have you called Purple Bricks? They're real cheap. Yeah, we have. Are you going to use them? No, we're not. Why? Blah, blah, blah. That's what I say. Well, we just felt that they were cheap. I was like, yeah, that's right, they're cheap. I'm not, but I'm good. Is that all right? Yes, cross that one off. Let me show you how I'm going to defend your price. After we talk about the price of your house, I always talk about the price of the house first. So I want to get a sense of where they're at. Are we on the same page? I went to a house 3 days ago and the lady was just so bossy, so bad, bossing her partner around. You don't need to be here. Get out of the house. I'm talking to Matt. Blah, blah. I'm just sitting there going, wow. And she's like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. The house was terrible. It was all blue. It was just concrete everywhere. I said, have you ever considered a stylist? She said, what? I said, a stylist. Why? I said, because your house is really bare. And she's like, no. why would I do that? I said, because you need help. She goes, and she goes, and I'm not joking, and she goes, and her partner chimed in, she goes, just shut up, stop talking. And then she sits there and goes, look, I'm really offended by this styling. I said, well, that's fine. I don't think we can work together. We're just not going to work together at all. I think you should use another agent. Bye. And I just went. She walked me out of the house. You know, when that walk, when you're not talking to each other? And you're like, yeah, thanks, okay, bye. Yeah. But who wants to sit there, and if you're not a match, you're not a match. I love it. I love when you can sort of find this ground with people that's important to them. This saves you a lot of time. When they're going to sell, what they think the home is worth, and if you're referred to me. I know you sort of know all that. Please start using it. This letter here is, it's sort of the thing James Tosterman gave me, but this commitment letter, after I've been to their house, 3 steps of follow-up. I didn't bring all the 3. Chocolates, call, this. On the 3rd day, the daily papers, this letter in an envelope, elastic banded to the outside, dropped to their front door at 6 in the morning when they go to work. If you haven't listed it by this point, you're probably not going to. But a lot of people call me and say, wow, like, you guys are everywhere. How did you get it there at 6 in the morning? So I went to the servo, got the papers and put it there. They're like, awesome, yeah, cool. Can you guys come back around? Or they might have some, you know, like a marketing problem or whatever, but at least you get to talk to them again. You know why? Because it just demonstrates work ethic. It just does. Like, it's speed in the pre-list kit. Nothing happens in isolation in this business. If you want to write whatever you want to write, $3 million a year, just be a $3 million a year agent. So it's like the execution needs to be like almost perfect. We don't get everything right, but we really try. As soon as someone rings, pre-list kit, out there, on time, ready. I ironed my shirt today because the hotel has the world's worst iron, so if it's crumpled, it's usually beautiful. Like pressed, ready to go. Some of my competitors literally go like they've had a football game at lunch playing bull rush in the paddock. They do. They do. Like even some of the owners say, like, gee, Chris comes with all these shirts hanging out. But when you're like there for business, straight into this, no fuss. I'm just known for no small talk. I'm just known for it. I don't want to talk about their dog's operation last week. I don't. I do want to talk about how can I solve it for you. Because you can't present to people unless you know what you need to solve. So if you're talking about marketing, and they're like a marketing expert from Sydney, a chief marketing officer, and you're talking about full page ads and this and that, they sort of get it. But if it's not important to them, if it's number 8, I won't be talking about it much. I want to know about their experiences before. And when you nail that part, something happens inside of you. It almost like vibrates on such a deep level that this person gets me. I found my real estate soulmate. Do you get it? And there's nothing more refreshing than straight to the point without being rude. I'm conscious of their time. And I say to them, just to maximise your time, can we talk about the top 3? Let's get straight into it. Sure. Let's talk about price first. Sure. And then you do all this other stuff. It's like really hard to compete with. Super hard to compete with someone who is literally like that hungry. Like hunger. Hunger will trump experience almost, not all the time, but you'll earn it. A lot of agents contact me and say, I'm up against a competitor that's been there for 30 years. And I said, it's the best. Because they'll be half asleep. James Tosterman won't, but I reckon you can find chinks in his armour because he's real busy. Good mate of mine. Talk to him all the time about all sorts of stuff. But if you're young and you're keen and you want to run fast, such an opportunity. I'd love to compete against that sort of person. Love it. Competing against another young person, whoa, if they're like on their game too, real hard. The CMA, like this thing, I know you all know it, it's the delivery of this thing that changed my core area. So you get to saturation, everyone hates you, and then you start doing this 10 a day. And you put a letter with it, you drop a letter out, you call them, hey Mrs. Jones, it's Matt from McGrath, did you get my letter yesterday? Oh, don't know. Well, what it said was, I'm dropping a report around to your neighbours Do you mind if I just leave it at your doorstep? No, I'm not selling. Cool. It's for people that aren't selling. Mrs. Fitzgibbons is getting one next door. Can I just leave it at your doorstep? It's free. Is that all right? They usually say yes. They take a picture of their house, put it on a letter, take this, knock on their door, give it to them. Hey, it's Matt. How you going? Bye. Go. And then sometimes they ring back and say, how did you get the picture of our house? And I say, with a camera. And they're like, oh, really? Wow. Okay, thanks. And then, but every 6 months, to the day, another one. Every 6 months. Up offshore, just enough that they couldn't see him for 3 days and just sat, did nothing, just sat. And all the men were getting real restless and like, we don't want to do this, let's go home. You know, I want to go and eat spaghetti bolognese, but let's just go. We don't want to be here. And he stood up and he said, everyone in the attack boats, every person on all these 3 ships in the attack boats. And they were like, why? We don't want to fight. He said, everybody in. So everybody got in, pushed off, and he turned around and said, burn the boats! Burn the boats! And he ordered every single one of their boats to be burned. And he said, men, we have no other option now but to fight with all of our might and win. That's it. And that's the only way you'll see your families again. They went, they fought, they won, and they went home. Obviously some less, because some of them died. But what I'm saying to you is, when I was an underworld criminal all those years ago, and then I ended up homeless and all this sort of rubbish, I made a decision when I walked out of court, and I said, I will become the Australia's best real estate agent. And right at that moment, I burnt the boats. And something changed inside. And not once ever have I second-guessed the decision. Have I wondered, should I be here, should I not? Is the market good, is it not? I haven't even really cared. All I cared about was being like Manuel. And it's sort of worked so far. So that's it.